very, very long time. We stand with Ukraine.
Fresh trouble for Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. This as three European nations, Hungary, Slovakia and Serbia, join hands against Kyiv's energy blackmail. The center of the storm is Druzhba oil pipeline, which serves as the primary conduit for Russian crude deliveries to Hungary and Slovakia. Shipments through the pipeline have stalled since the end of January. Ukraine said the pipeline suffered damage in Russian attack, but Kyiv has not made an official announcement about resuming oil deliveries. Remember, Hungary and Slovakia are among the last remaining customers of Russian oil within the European Union. The halt in energy supply made a big geopolitical shift. Hungarian's MOL has taken the acquisition of a controlling stake in Naftna Industria Serbia (NIS) from Russia's Gazprom. Hungarian Foreign Minister Peter Szijjártó said that the move will help Budapest, Serbia and Slovakia to resist energy blackmail from none other than Ukraine. A day after the European lawmakers praised Zelensky and slammed Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán during an event marking 4 years of war in Ukraine, Szijjártó met with Serbia's Minister of Mining and Energy, Dubravka Đurić-Handanović. Szijjártó and Handanović met in Washington, where they took part in an international conference on energy cooperation between the United States and Eastern European countries. Szijjártó said that during this trip, he would inform U.S. Secretary of Energy Chris Wright and Doug Burgum, the Secretary of the Interior who manages the country's natural resources, about attempts of political blackmail by Ukraine, which blocked Russian oil pumping through the Druzhba pipeline. The Hungarian FM said the oil markets of the three landlocked countries will function in a coordinated manner, and we will become even more resistant to political blackmail from Ukraine. He pledged to provide MOL with all the necessary support for this. He also said that he had agreed with Đurić-Handanović to further accelerate preparatory work for the construction of an oil pipeline between Hungary and Serbia. The new transport route will significantly increase the security of oil supplies to our countries. This new route is said to be used to transit Russian oil to Serbia through Hungary via the Druzhba pipeline. The Soviet-era Druzhba pipeline carries Russian crude through Belarus and Ukraine and into Central Europe. Opened in 1964, it is one of the largest oil pipelines in the world, connecting West Siberian oil fields to major refineries in Europe. The pipeline has capacity to pump more than 2 million barrels per day, but has been delivering only a fraction of it as most European countries turned away from Russian fossil fuels since Moscow launched its full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. The Druzhba pipeline splits into two legs, with the bigger northern one going to Poland and Germany, while the southern leg supplies Slovakia, Hungary and the Czech Republic. Earlier, European lawmakers praised Ukraine and blasted Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán for objecting to new EU sanctions package against Russia. The EU lawmakers called Orbán Putin's cheap servant.
And today we must be just as determined and strong as we were when the invasion began. The threat hasn't become smaller. Yes, we are holding Russia back, but we have not yet guaranteed security. And only together can we do this together in Europe. Yes, together with America. And of course, we all understand that this is not an easy task to maintain transatlantic unity and cooperation in the current conditions. But I am grateful to everyone who, despite all the challenges, continues to preserve this globally important link between Europe and America. and between all the world's democracies matters. We also need the full range of security guarantees for Ukraine. Thank you. And to prevent Russia from spreading its aggression in Europe, and to ensure that we can support any European nation if it becomes a target of a new Russian war. Right now, there is an important decision on the table, 90 billion euros in support for Ukraine over 2 years. This is a real financial guarantee of our security and our resilience, and it must be implemented. And I thank everyone who is working to make it happen. Thanks, all of you. And it is important for us to receive a clear date for joining the EU. Very important. As a part of the diplomacy process right now, within all the diplomacy aimed at ending the war. And this is not just a wish. It's a clear understanding of how Putin will act. If there is no date, if there is no such guarantee, he will find a way to block Ukraine for decades by dividing you, by dividing Europe. We must protect ourselves from this. In many ways, we can see how Russia shows contempt for Europe, but Russians should learn that Europe is not just a land for the villas of Russian oligarchs. It's not a museum for the lovers of Russian officials to admire beauty, and not a place of leisure for Russian killers. Russians must learn that Europe is a union of independent nations and millions of people who do not tolerate humiliation and will not accept violence.
All this is the sole political responsibility of the ruthless dictator in the Kremlin, who started the second fascist attack following the Nazi occupation from 1941 to 1944. Our outrage is not only about Putin, but also his admirers, sycophants and war profiteers inside the EU, such as Orban and Fico. Your disgraceful attitude will go down in European history books, labeling you as quislings even without occupation.
The 20th package of sanctions is absolutely essential, and anyone who today blocks these sanctions and the vital aid for Ukraine is weakening Europe and strengthening the aggressor. Viktor Orban does not embody peace, he embodies impunity. And to the pro-European forces, I state with absolute clarity, you cannot possibly defend the European project while you are making agreements with those who are actively eroding it from within. Every single time that they sit down, that they negotiate an amendment, or that they agree on a vote with those who openly support Orban, they are committing a profound act of betrayal against the Ukrainian people.
When Ukrainians stood with courage and strength against a brutal aggressor, here in Europe, there is one man who has consistently shown the exact opposite. In the face of Ukrainian strength, he has made Europe weak. In the face of Ukraine's struggle for freedom, he has acted cowardly. In the face of Europe's unity, he has become Putin's cheap servant. Viktor Orban, in the last years and also today, has not only betrayed Ukraine, he has betrayed all of us. He has betrayed Europe.